Hello.
Hello, Melissa.
Yes, that's me.
Hi, how are you? Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us
Of
today. We
course.
appreciate it. So you're going to be at the Chevalier Theater here in Medford, Massachusetts, for the I Identify as a Witch show, and you're bringing Aunt Hilda with you. I'm very excited because I'm a big Caroline
Yeah.
Rhea fan, so that's awesome. So
Great.
what was the catalyst for doing this show?
So it's interesting. Caroline asked me sometime last year, hey, do you want to go try some stand-up? And I always love a challenge, so I was like, absolutely, let's do it. And we did it around Halloween, which seemed like the right time. And I did a 20-minute set, which I heard later on was like a lot. But I had such fun, and I felt so comfortable on stage, and I just loved the aspect of entertaining again. And, you know, it's almost like a live sitcom, so it was really fun to be up there on stage and making people laugh. And I was like, I love this. So we decided to do a few more cities and see how we do. And so we're coming to the Chevalier Theater in Medford, and so excited to be there. And I keep saying my goal is to make people pee their pants. So we'll see if we can get some laughs out of people, let everyone have a good time. And she and I will, and she'll, of course, do her long set, and I'll sort of open for her. And we'll have some fun.
Wow. So I was thinking this was going to be like you guys sitting there and just talking about Sabrina the Teenage Witch and doing a Q&A thing. But you guys, this is like a stand-up show, pretty much.
Yeah, this is a proper stand-up show. We'll have an opener, and then named CJ. He'll come out and try to get everybody nice and gooey and giggling. And then I'll come out and do a little bit, and I'll talk about my experiences on my shows and my family, get into some personal family stuff. And then Caroline will come out and do what she does, which is just make everyone rip and roar. And you know, she really engages with the audience in a really big way. And she's been doing this for 35 years. So, you know, she'll, you know, really be able to make you have a good time. And then, you know, and then at the end, I think we might do a Q&A.
Oh, okay. All right. So I was watching the podcast, the What Women Binge, the episode with Caroline Rhea. And I just got to say, I'm totally there with you about people who say nothing but good things about their kids. And don't get me wrong, I have a 19-year-old daughter, and I love her dearly. But she drives me nuts, which is good because that means they're healthy to me.
Yeah,
right?
That's true. And it's age appropriate.
Right.
That's what I've been told.
Right. And it's like I just love when both you and her are like, you know, my kids are you know, I thought that was great. I don't think I've ever said that out loud, but I sure as hell thought it. Absolutely. You know, so
it's, you know, big kids, big problems, and they have big mouths too. So, you know, I feel like teenagers, I mean, as I've been told by a lot of people, it's age appropriate for them to try to push boundaries and push back and find their own place in the world. And so they're going to be like, it's sort of what they do. It's what we all do. It's part of nature.
I'm just glad to know I'm not alone. That's all. So
You're not.
If I could talk about Sabrina a little bit, so to prepare to talk to you, I went back because I haven't really seen an episode since, the 90s. And I forgot how many guest appearances were on that show.
Oh, yeah.
And like some were like really huge at the time. You know, you had NSYNC on there, Backstreet Boys. I love seeing Debbie Harry in that first episode. But then you had like Bryan Cranston on. Before
Bryan Cranston was on an episode before. Yeah, apparently Kelly Clarkson was an extra in a scene somewhere along the way. Yeah.
Oh, God.
You know, it was a big show. We had a big budget because it appealed to families. A lot of my people I looked up to, or my mom, who was executive producer, looked up to, would come on the show because their kids watched the show. So it made them a hero at home to come on the show. You know, kind of like the same reason I want to be on the show Bunked on Disney Channel, is because my kids love that show. So, you know, if a lot of people would come on the show and say, "Oh, this is going to give me so much credit at home with my kids," but then, and then other people just liked the show. And then for like some of the boy bands and more pop stars at the time, it was a status thing to like get on the show. Was like part of, you would go on TRL and you would come on Sabrina, you know.
Yeah. And was there anyone that at that time that you got really, really excited about when you heard that they were going to make an appearance? Who was like the number one?
The Violent Femmes was my first concert.
Yeah.
So I don't even remember talking to them. I mean, I tap danced with Dick Van Dyke apparently, but I didn't even remember it. I think because I must have been so nervous.
Oh my God.
I had to be reminded about that a few years ago. Davy Jones from the Monkees, because I was a dorky little kid who loved the Monkees, and Davy Jones came on, and I was thrilled. We had like Johnny Mathis come on at Christmas time and sing, and we had Lonnie Anderson, and we had Barbara Eden, and we had the 10,000 Maniacs, and we had my husband at the time, my boyfriend came on the show. So we just anyone and everyone we could. We had the Backstreet Boys, but we also had Howie D from the Backstreet Boys come on and just play a part a few episodes later. So it was really a fun experience, and we were just so blessed to have. And I just heard that, like, Caroline Rhea told me the other day that Lady Gaga got all like mushy around her, like, oh my God, I love your show. And the Harry Potter kids, when I've run into them, they've been just like, oh my God, I grew up with you, and so it's just lovely, like the fan base we were able to create with that and the international appeal. It was just beyond anything we could imagine.
Kind of in relation to the Harry Potter series too, did you at any time while the show was on get any guff from people who really did identify as witches? Sometimes people who are witches, get upset at the way they're portrayed.
I got things from I still do at the Comic-Cons and whatnot. I'll still get people coming up to me going, I am a witch, or so there's definitely a big culture of sort of the pagans and the other end of it also, people that are like, I wasn't allowed to watch your show because it was about witchcraft, and things like that. So it runs the gambit of people that, like, of course, when I was younger, the kids would always be like, I like the cat better than you. I'm like, thanks. But, so there were some people that were there for the cat. Some people were there for the jokes. Some people were there for the guests. It was like some people were there for the witchcraft. Some people weren't there because of the witchcraft. So, it was like, it really, it's the same kind of thing I would get too, though, with Clarissa, my first show on Nickelodeon. I would get a lot of crap from parents saying, my daughter cut up her jeans because of you, or I bought her a brand new pair of jeans and she painted on them. Thanks a lot. So it's funny, some of the things the fans will say and things that I've taken with me over the years.
Well, if cutting up that person's daughter cutting up their jeans or painting them is the worst thing, they're very lucky. That's all I got to say. And something I was surprised about, because, like I said, I haven't watched episodes since the 90s, but to see Paul Feig on that show. And then, he's the guy that, if people don't know him, he created one of my favorite TV shows, Freaks and Geeks. But he directed, like, Bridesmaids. He directed. And
now he's like one of the biggest comedy directors in the industry, for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, Bridesmaids. He did that movie Last Christmas with Amelia Clark. He's a huge comedy director. But he was on the show, and it's funny because he actually, I think he might be mad at me because he only made it through the first season and didn't get asked back a second season. So, but I mean, he was hilarious. He was Mr. Poole, the science teacher.
Yeah. I'm sure he's really angry about that whole thing.
Yeah. I hope he's still not hurt about that. But you never know.
Well, Melissa Joan Hart, it has been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I identify as a witch with Caroline Rhea, Aunt Hilda. We'll be at the Chevalier Theater in Medford on May 11th. We look forward to seeing you.
Come on out. We'll see you there.
From what you said before, your goal is to make people pee their pants. You may want to call someone like Depends as a sponsor of the show.
Depends is going to sponsor. That'd be great. Or Poise. We'll get them to sponsor for sure.
All right. All right, Melissa, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.